7 months in, the honest review. 7 months ago, I started something I didn't fully understand with tools I'd never used in my life. I want to give you the honest review, not the highlight reel, not the numbers to impress you, the real picture, what worked, what didn't, and the one thing I wish somebody had told me before I started. Last October, I was putting my beehives to bed for winter. A friend sent me a link. I watched 9 hours of content on affiliate marketing and AI and building something online. And I decided at 77 years old, with 5 months of Arkansas winter ahead of me, to try one more time. I'd tried before, 8 or 9 times over 40 years, different programs, same result. So I wasn't coming into this naive. I was coming into it with a long list of things that hadn't worked and a cautious willingness to see if this was different. 7 months later, here's what I can actually tell you, what I got right. Staying in my own voice. That was the thing that made the biggest difference, and it took me longer than it should have to figure it out. Early on, I was writing content that sounded like everybody else in the space. Marketing language, polished hooks, the things that technically worked but didn't sound like me. The results were average. When I stopped trying to sound like a content creator and just started talking like Ray Main, a 77-year-old pastor who found something that worked and wanted to share it honestly, the audience responded. Over 500,000 views on one post, 8,000 followers on Instagram, something that actually moves. The voice was always the asset. I just had to stop covering it up, staying consistent even when nothing seemed to be happening. The first several weeks were quiet, not discouraging exactly, just quiet. Small numbers, a handful of followers, no sign of anything breaking through. I kept going anyway. Started with one reel a day, then two reels a day, every day, and somewhere around week 5, something shifted. A post went to 12,000 views in a day, then another. Then the algorithm started pushing things I hadn't even posted recently. Consistency did that, not talent, not strategy, just showing up every day in the quiet season until something started growing. This is what I got wrong. I spent time early on posting content that wasn't really me. Scripts that were technically correct, but missed the feature texture of my actual life. I had AI write things in what was supposed to be my voice, but didn't quite land. The audience could feel it. The numbers showed it. The fix was simple. Tell real stories. The bees, the construction work, the 8 failed businesses before this one. The fact that I'm 77 years old pastor from Arkansas who had no business building a following on Instagram and somehow did it anyway. Real is always better than polished, always. Now, here's the one thing I wish somebody had told me. It takes longer than you think and works better than you expect. If someone had shown me on day one what the numbers would look like 7 months later, I probably would have said that's not realistic. It would have seemed too good. But if someone had told me how long the quiet season would be before any of that happened, I might have been tempted to quit before I got there. The timeline is longer than what you want. The results are better than you imagine. And the gap between those two things is where most people give up. Don't give up in the gap. I've been a pastor long enough to know that most things worth having require a season you didn't expect and a patience you didn't know you had. Faith works that way. Marriages work that way. Beehives work that way. And building something online works that way too. The people who make it aren't the most talented or the most connected. They're the ones who keep going in a quiet season long enough to find out what was on the other side of it. I'm glad I did. If you're somewhere in the middle of your own quiet season right now, wondering if this is going to work, wondering if you started too late, wondering if you have what it takes, I want you to know you're not alone in that. I sat in the same place 7 months ago. Keep going. If you want to see what I found that's actually working, the link's in the description. No hype, no pressure, just the honest thing that finally made sense to one old beekeeper from Arkansas. I'll see you Monday.